Hi, I'm Sarah,
And I'm James.
and we're going to talk about Destination X, episode
Yay!
5. We got James with us this week, but first, if you're new to this channel, please click subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. Welcome, James.
Thank you so much for having me, Sarah. I mean, it's no shock or no surprise, I'm sure, that I'm a big fan of Destination X, and
Mm-hmm.
I wish I was on that bus sometimes.
I know you were. Little behind the scenes, James and I text about this show. He's like, "Get me on the show. I love the show. Obsessed with the show." So I'm like, well, "Let's talk about it then."
Let's talk about it.
You absolutely should be on that bus. Question though, if they do a season 2, because this season 1 is like the biggest cities of the biggest countries,
Right.
how do you think they'll mix it up for season 2? What do you
Yeah,
think?
I think Will and I we've been watching together, and I think our biggest gripe with the show is that the cities are too big. And it's
Yeah.
almost, I mean, maybe it's easy for us because we're viewers at home, but I like actively am playing along with the clues, and Will and I are always like on point with where Destination X will ultimately be. That I think they do need to shake it up and do like the lesser known, maybe not as popular travel destinations in these countries, or honestly, they should do it in the US or do it in South America. Like they just got to change continent to keep it fresh, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's probably what they'll do is pick a different continent. I mean, the US is boring. Don't go to the US.
It's boring, but like I think there's a lot of like things to make it fun too, because
Sure.
you know, I growing up, like my family would do so many summer vacations within the country. We never went out
Hmm.
of the country. And I just like there's so much in our own backyard that makes North America so great. And maybe you can even include Canada in that and do like
Hmm.
Canada and the United States for a future Destination X.
Absolutely. That's a very good point. Well, when we get started with episode 5, now granted, we get more information as a viewer, right? We hear like a whole narration,
Right.
and Jeffrey's going to be like, it's getting grim. So we're like, obviously, we're going to Germany.
Right.
Gives it away in like the very first line.
Right.
But again, we're getting that not on the bus.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing I do love about the show is those little clues. And that's why I'm like, am I too smart for the show? But I'm also like, you're right. If I was on the bus, it's so disorienting. And even just
Yeah.
from having done some of the exit interviews with contestants from the show, I think it would be a little confusing and not knowing my left from my right.
Yeah, they do throw in red herrings. Like there are some things that are confusing, but it seems pretty easy. All right, we're gonna get like some on the bus convo here. Allie's like, "Good riddance to my girl Ty." What? Okay, guess y'all aren't friends. What?
Yeah, I was a little shocked by that because I feel like Ty was so ride or die with Allie. And obviously, she did branch out within reason, and I think it's very understandable because of how close Allie was getting to Shane. I think it just goes to show like Ty clearly is a fan of reality competition shows. Like I think her finger was on the pulse
Yeah,
of what the game is. She just got wrapped up with the wrong people. And I think the whole thing that happened to her last episode about lying about not having met Janae before, I was just like, why does that really matter though? Like who really cares?
it
Like
doesn't matter.
no, it was so stupid. But I do think for me as a fan so far, Ty was a standout,
Yeah,
and her going home for me felt a little. This episode felt lackluster. You could tell her presence was missed for me, at least as a viewer.
agreed. I loved talking with her too in her exit interview. Like she had way more strategy than they showed
Yes,
us.
you're right.
Janae's gonna give us a really hilarious little like black person in a movie
Oh, it was perfect.
analogy.
I mean, I didn't watch Love Island, so I didn't really know much about her when she came onto the bus. And I can
Right.
definitely see why she is so loved by the Love Island fans. Not even just Love Island fans, I think reality television fans. Like, she's a queen, she's an icon, she has great sound bites. Like, she knows really how to deliver when she's on camera. So I'm excited to see how she does on this show.
Yeah, agreed. She's playing very well right now. Peter respects Biggie's game. And honestly, this is just giving Biggie's edit. Like Biggie's edit is significant.
It is. I can't quite tell if I'm a Biggie fan or not. There are times where I appreciate him and like what he brings to the show, but I'm like maybe he's just not my cup of tea. Like I think if I was on the bus with him, I don't think him and I would
Oh,
see eye
right.
to eye in the game.
Yeah. No, I think being on the bus with most people would be horrible for me. But I think you're right. But
Wait,
I do
also, if I'm
like
not
Biggie.
mistaken, he hasn't been out of the country, right? Didn't he say that in like one of the
Hmm.
first episodes? Like,
Yeah.
and I love that. Like, I love that he's kind of like a fish out of water. He's completely out of his element, which I think is great casting. And I would honestly love Amazing Race to kind of find a team like that, where it's a team that's never been out of the country, that this is completely foreign territory for them to like be plucked out of their daily routine. So that's one thing I do appreciate about Biggie as like a persona on the show. But I'm like, oh, if I was on that bus with him, I would not be able to get a read on him.
Yeah. Yeah. Which I think is good for his game because
Yes, absolutely.
people like I think underestimated him, thought he was dumb, and then
Right.
like got to know him and like probably had some laughs with him, and now I think he is smart, and so and he gives good confessionals. So
Yes, yes.
I don't mind him at all. Peter is still aligned with Rick and Janae. We see, and he's tracking the sun because he's a pilot.
Because he's a pilot. Ugh.
Repeat.
We'll talk about Peter as we progress in the episode, but
Yes, there's more.
he frustrates me.
Yes, I can't wait. Okay, Jeffrey's gonna show up. He first tells them to pair up and say, I'm one or two. And then they twist it, which I love.
I was so here for it because everyone thought they had it made. They were like, "Oh yeah, like you're gonna be my partner," and I'm like,
Yeah.
just that little. It's like such a subtle twist, but has a huge impact. And I thought that it
Yep.
was incredible producing in terms of like getting a desired outcome of surprise.
Yes. Agreed. They don't have to put on their goggles because they are in a forest and they just get to hop off the bus.
That must have been so nice and such a relief
Hmm.
because everyone I've talked to is like, the goggles are so heavy.
Yeah, and disorienting. And then once you're off that bus, because they do apparently travel for days on that bus without
Hmm.
sunlight or whatever. So as soon as you like step into the fresh air, I'm sure you're just like, oh, thank you.
Oh, yeah, I can't imagine how smelly that bus is.
Oh, God. Mac, Biggie, and Rick are on a team where she says they are the strongest intellectually, plus Shane is also there.
Shane is just there. I feel like Shane keeps getting kind of shit on by people. Like even Janae said the same thing. Like he's like not as smart as he looks, or
Yeah.
I forgot how she phrased it, but like alluding to like Shane again. I'm like, God, poor Shane. Like he just can't seem to catch a break.
No, I think he knows he's pretty, and that's who he is. He's
That's
pretty, and that's
Shane.
that. And maybe he can lift some things if they need.
He knows his strengths.
Yes. But that is a pretty stacked team. Because the other team is like Peter, Janae, Kim, and Allie, which is just kind of a hodgepodge of people. I'm already feeling Mac's team for sure.
It is, but like I think Allie is she's one for me to watch. Like I think she's
100%.
very smart and she's someone I would want on my team. If I didn't have Mac, I would want Allie. I just think the way that that team handled the challenge was a big disservice to them and it was really frustrating.
Yeah, I agree. I think Allie's very smart, and but she doesn't like those people, right? She's on a team full of people she doesn't really want to work with,
Yeah.
and like let's go ahead and get there. We see Team One like actively doing the challenge, and immediately with Team Two here, Peter is going to throw out his strategy of let's just throw it so we 100% know we have red herrings.
I don't understand the strategy. I really don't. I If you're on the show to compete, compete. Don't like just sit like even if I was a challenge producer, I would have been so frustrated because that's not what this is meant to do. Like you want to compete for the clues, not for the red herrings. And like what if they had got them all right? They would have had even more of an upper hand. So like, I just was really frustrating. I felt Kim's frustration because you could tell she wanted to compete. And I'm like, if I were Kim, I would have just done the challenge regardless. Like,
Right. Well, she does do like her tiniest part regardless, which I appreciated. Like she gets the opportunity to walk into that room,
yes.
hear one of the red herring clues, which is
And
that they might be going through this town, which you know is a lie, and then she chooses to keep that to herself, which I was like, thank goodness. If you're not on board with this strategy, you
mm-hmm.
owe nothing to the rest of this group, right?
Yeah, I kind of liked her lone wolf approach to the game because I do think there is a little bit of a benefit to that with this style of competition. But I also didn't think it would have hurt for her to at least confide in one other person. We
Oh, I
saw and
think
we
it would have
know
helped.
that she like knows she can't trust Janae, Peter, and Rick. And I think if she was a little bit more head in the game, I think I would have used that information against them to like let people know we can't trust Rick, Janae, and Peter. They have a
Right.
tight alliance, but she didn't even share that information with anyone. So it was almost too on her own island, which I think is obviously a big disservice to her game.
Absolutely. Like you just can't play the game that way. This
No.
game is really hard if you think you're just going to figure it out yourself. Um it just doesn't seem possible. So, unfortunately, I did not get to speak with her yesterday. PR said she was not feeling well and they are trying to reschedule. I don't know if I'll actually be able to get to talk to her. But I really did want to ask her about this whole train debacle
Mm-hmm.
and like yeah like you said use that information like if you know you're going into the map room and you don't have much to go off of, find somebody and be like, look, here's what happened.
Yeah.
I know these are red herrings. Can we work together for just this round or something, like at least, because she had nothing to go off of.
And it seemed like some people, just from like the interviews we saw kind of edited throughout, like people seem to like Kim and like
Yeah.
respond well to Kim. But I'm curious, like when you have the chance to talk to Kim, like what was her perception of her busmates? Because there
Mm,
there had to have been a reason that she was not willing to even like approach one person with information at
right.
all. Like, was she just not
Right.
having fun? I mean, she's fun TV.
Yeah.
I loved Kim. I thought she was great casting. And again, it's a huge disservice to the show that now we lost Ty, now we lose Kim. Like, I think I loved these two. I'm just curious if she really enjoyed the game.
Right. Did she not enjoy them or just not trust them?
Right.
I mean, they are all younger than her. Maybe she just didn't connect. Yeah, hopefully we get to ask these questions. The thing about Peter's strategy here, it's it's not a horrible strategy if you know you have an ally on the other side who's about to win all of that information.
Oh, absolutely.
So for Peter, okay, great. You know you have all the red herrings, you know exactly what is incorrect, and you're about to get all of the actual correct information. It makes complete sense for him. Does it work for anybody else? No. And if I were those other people, I'd have to question why he was so comfortable not getting actual clues, right? I think that kind of gives away that he has a leak on the other side.
And I honestly think that maybe this is a flaw with the show. And maybe that's why sometimes me being such a gamer and like wanting to like put myself in these situations and see like what would I do. Like I understand your perspective of why Peter did what he did, but I'm assuming that's probably maybe what Allie did too, because Shane was on the other team and she knows that she can trust Shane. Kim kind of being on her own island. So like really at the end of the day, Kim was completely out
The
of the
only one.
loop.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, then these challenges are sort of null and void if people are having so much trust in each other. It just defeats the purpose of like, there's really not much at stake with the exception of the clues. And then, of course, there's going to be another challenge later on in the episode where you can have the opportunity to get clues just for yourself. It just, I feel like there needs to be more at stake with these clues where it maybe entices people to not want to share or to share. But maybe they didn't anticipate going into this type of show, people being this trusting of each other with information.
Right. I mean, they definitely broke the game here a little bit with the fact that they were like, we're not going to do the challenge. We'll take all of your red herrings. That's
Yes,
really on the producers now to figure out how to not allow that. Like, you
right.
have to have some sort of consequence so that the gamers don't game the game, right?
Maybe it's that you have to do it. And if you don't get any information at all. Because I feel like they shouldn't have
Mm,
gotten information at all. They kind of, to me, forfeited the challenge. So like
right.
I would have been like, well, then you should be penalized because you gave up.
Yeah. Yep, I think they learned from this one, and they probably had a little meeting afterwards, and threw some things together there. So yeah, we have awkward team two sitting in silence. Team one is going to keep trying. They're not going to quite get all of them correct, which means they don't get to see like the big clue. But
Right.
I don't think they need it. They are clearly in Germany. They saw the German on the side of the train. They get it.
Yeah, they get it. I mean, and that's another thing too. I wish almost it was harder because like the moment you know the country, then like, okay, cool. Like you know where you're at. Like I feel like they're
Right.
just I just think the stakes just need to be a little higher to like get that kind of information.
Yeah. So what the heck was Peter talking about here when he was like, "Allie, are you gonna tell Shane?"
Oh, and that's why I loved how Allie just threw it back at him and was like, "Are you asking me not to tell Shane? Like, just
Right.
get to the point." Like,
Right.
and that was so stupid. It's like I feel like Peter's on this high horse of like he can do no wrong, but everyone else around him who's playing a very similar game to him is wrong. They're not trustworthy. They're manipulative. And I'm like, Peter, you're doing the exact same thing. So why are you mad?
I just was like, yeah. I was like, what are you trying to like scare her or manipulate her
It
into
was
not telling
weird.
Shane when you are clearly
Right.
going to get the information from Rick and share? Like, I wish she had thrown it back of like, but she doesn't know quite about him and Rick.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
100%.
like, because I feel like if he had said that to me, I'd be like, well, you're obviously sharing this information with someone, or else you wouldn't have even came up with a strategy. Like,
Yeah.
how
It,
how is he okay to do it, but she's not okay to do
right. The
it?
whole exchange, it honestly gave me the ick. There's just something
Yeah.
about Peter that I'm not a big fan of.
Mm-hmm.
And that whole exchange just really rubbed me the wrong way. And I was just really loving when Allie just like spit it back and was like, okay, so are you just trying to ask me if I'm gonna tell Shane or not? Like just get to the point. Like, why are we why? What is this conversation? This is so stupid. Um,
Yeah. I was
but yeah,
like, who
I
does he
maybe
think he is?
maybe I just wish Kim's head was just in the game a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Because imagine if she would have been like, well, you're just gonna go tell Rick's just gonna tell you, and you and Janae are gonna get this information that we're not gonna get. So like, I
Right.
don't know. I don't know. I
Yeah,
just
because Kim is sitting there with that information. She's the only one who is aware that he has
yes,
been talking to Rick. So if
exactly.
she had thrown it out at that point, that'd have been amazing. Or at least quietly to Allie later or anyone later. And been like, I know they're working together.
Exactly.
Like, that would have been so good for the game, whether she left or stayed.
Because it would have made at least an impact and it would have shaken it up a little bit.
Yeah, 100%. Um, okay, so off of the train here, we do see Peter and Rick obviously going through their information there, blah, blah, blah. And now we're going to get to go to the Black Forest.
Woo! I loved the whole setup and again the whole play on the Graham brothers Graham. Like it was just
Now, I thought this is really obvious. We
yes.
hear Kim say the Lederhosen for Oktoberfest, but I was like, I think the whole thing here is fairy tale themed.
Yep.
Clearly we're in Germany. Like, if anyone's iffy, this is very obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was obvious.
Okay. Um So this is a fun game, right? They like sit down with a basket. They're gonna be able to swap their baskets, and they get to tell us what's in it slash lie what's in it. We've got an apple, a mirror, or just some cookies with no power.
Yeah, I mean, I like the simplicity of this challenge, and I do like seeing how everyone's gears were going and how they wanted to approach this. And that's
Yeah.
why I loved Kim just being so blunt about, I have an apple. And she even said, someone's going to eat out of the palm of my hand. They're going to believe that I'm bluffing. And sure enough, she did. But unfortunately, the basket she got swapped with also had an apple. But I'm like, God, if this would have worked out any other way for Kim, it would have been incredible.
Yeah. Yeah, very, very fun. It was very fun to see who was like, I'm gonna lie or I'm not gonna lie. Um, so we're only gonna have, I believe, three swaps, right? Allie's gonna take Rick's mirror, which turns out to be an apple. Rick is gonna take Kim's apple. It truly is an apple. And then that gives Kim Rick's actual apple. So the
So it's
apples
like
end up swapping.
all the apples moved.
Which makes sense that you want to get rid of your apple. But
Yes.
yeah. So those are the three people that are guaranteed to go into the map room. Mac and Janae end up with mirrors. So they get to run off together, scamper off to a big mirror with Heidi Klum.
Good old Heidi Klum. I thought I was like, I can't believe. I mean, like, love Heidi Klum, but like, I did not expect her making an appearance on Destination X was just not on my bingo card.
No, but she does love reality TV. So
Oh, absolutely. It
now
was
I
fun.
don't know that she's from Munich. Do you know this?
I Googled it after the fact and it
Yeah.
wasn't Munich.
Oh, so wasn't even giving it away.
It was some town I didn't hear of. Oh, she was born in Bergisch Gladbach,
Yeah,
which
sure.
is near it's Cologne, Germany, right?
Oh, okay. So that doesn't even give it away. It's
No.
just still a clue for Germany.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought maybe that was like a clue that gave it away, but no.
Now, if she was drinking beer and in Lederhosen, that might have given.
So they're going to be told that they get to send someone into the map room. That's their advantage. And off they scamper through the forest. And Kim just going to play her solo game. She doesn't want help from anyone. Even in my notes, I wrote, even though she has no clues.
No clues. She just knows where they're not. She has the red herring.
So somewhere in here, I didn't write it down, but I know that somewhere in here, Allie is going to reveal like her whole conversation with Peter and
Yes.
tell her side of the group, like what really went down. So people already did not like Peter, and now I think like they really don't like Peter,
With the exception of Rick and Janae.
which unfortunately is only because Rick wasn't. He was ousted, right? Like he was
Yeah.
an outsider. No one would work with Rick. So I don't hate this for Rick.
No, I definitely don't hate it for Rick, but I'm also like, how convenient that the two people that come in immediately align with the outcast. Like, it's just so
Well, of course they
weird.
did.
It's so weird. To me, I'm like, Rick's the one to not play with. Like, to me, it's Rick's game to lose. Like, I felt like after episode 1, I was like, this is Rick's game. Like, he's going to win the whole thing. I would love to be pleasantly surprised, but I think it's so freaking obvious that, like, he's destined to win Destination X.
I don't know. I think him and Biggie. I think both of them.
I would love a Biggie win because he's never
Oh,
been out of the
really?
country, and that would be iconic.
I feel like the edit is telling me it's a Rick
Ricky.
and Biggie showdown at the end. But like, I think Peter's going to be around for most of the rest of the game because like, how do you get him out if
How did,
one of the smartest people is aligned with him? You know,
it's just, yeah.
there's going to have to be some sort of twist, which we saw in last episode that they will throw in some random twists. So maybe that's the hope right there. All right, we're gonna go into the map room. We know it's Kim, Allie, and Rick. Mac is going to choose Peter, and Janae is going to put in Shane. She says, "I don't want to be on Biggie's bad side." The edit, y'all. The edit. Biggie's getting props.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
These choices make sense, though, right? Like
I
they don't
think
have a
that they
ton of
do.
people to choose from.
No, they don't really have a lot to choose from. I also wish maybe like fewer people went into the map room.
Mm,
Like
yeah,
maybe like 3 people.
yeah. All right. So at this point, though, I'm like, Kim has nothing. So I was already very concerned for her. Even though the edit here was like, not everyone knows, which is kind of nice that not everyone knows because I think like last week everyone knew exactly. Um, so that's fun that everyone's not like perfectly knowing where they are, but I was like, poor, poor Kim. And her soundbite is like, again, Oktoberfest, Lederhosen. And I was like, oh,
It's
she didn't
like
even get
you.
the fairy tale stuff. But again, that doesn't give you Munich. So were you feeling anything, any type of way at this point? Did you know it was Kim?
I, based on everyone else having information, was under the impression that Kim would go. And I also like at the beginning, I was like, oh, Kim's so funny. She's so great. And then I was like, she's probably going to go because I just felt like
Yeah.
they were playing her up a little bit. I, I just really think she kind of screwed herself.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm so curious when you talk to her, like if she was
I
like
know.
enjoying the experience and like
Right.
why she didn't share certain information with people, or even like on her way out. That would have been a perfect opportunity to be like, by the way, Janae, Peter, and Rick, I overheard them talking in the room the other night and they are absolutely sharing information. Like
Yes.
something. It's like I felt like
Did
her head was in the game and it seemed like she was having fun, but I feel like maybe after Jonah went home, there was some sort of shift, or I don't know. Like I just
Speaking of
something.
Jonah, like I want to also ask him why the heck she put Jonah in the map room because he is the weakest one. She said he's the weakest one. So
Yep.
he's got to go to the map room and I was like,
Why?
wait, what?
Yeah. Even when I talked to Jonah, Jonah was like, I mean, the strategy would have been to not put me in the
Yeah.
map room. And I was like,
The
yeah. I mean,
strategy
I even
is
said that to him. I was like, I hate to say it, but yeah, like you weren't
yeah.
the smartest. I mean, or not the smartest, but you weren't the strongest link. So yeah, why put you? Like I want to bring you along so that if I go into the map room at some point, you're in there with me.
Yeah, I'm going to scoop you up, little Mr. Not sure where you are.
Right.
Come be my ally. And I'm going to take you because I'm going to beat you later when I need to beat somebody. I know that it's you. Like, I think that she was up for the game, but I don't think she quite had a gamer's head. Like,
Hmm.
that was my first sign. And then this, like, did you learn nothing from Josh? You stand up and you blow that bus up as you walk out the door. Like, why are you going to let Peter and Rick have that?
Yeah.
Let everyone know. Like, I think she was having fun. Well, I don't know if she liked the people, but like, she was there for the adventure, but not necessarily for the game. That's just my thoughts right now. Again, hopefully, we get to talk to her and we find out more. But anyway, Jeffrey's going to come on the bus and tell us that Kim is out.
Poor Kim.
So James, David actually has a pitch here that I think I'm kind of into. He says for this end part of the game, if it's kind of a Big Brother style, if they came
Okay.
in and said, two people put their star, what do you do in the map room? You put your dot in Munich, two people put it in Stuttgart, one person put it in France, or like wherever. Here are all the
Yeah.
dots. This person, or just say this person was 100 miles away, this person was 89 miles away, and that person is Kim. Like, give us some context to
Yeah.
like build the suspense. Um, and it also lets the people in the bus have a little bit more information.
I would agree with you on that. Or like show the map in the bus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wouldn't hate that. Because
I feel like that'd be more
information is
exciting.
power. And
Mm-hmm.
yes, from an editing standpoint, I would agree.
Yeah, I think that's better TV. And yeah, I remember what was her name? Rachel,
Yeah,
who she thought they were in Burn, but she
right.
didn't leave that episode. And so she was then calculating leaving Burn and going wherever. And I was like, oh crap, she doesn't even know that they weren't in Burn. So she was at a different starting point, like trying to figure it out, which is kind of fun if you don't have any clue where you are. But Jeffrey just walking onto the bus and being like, it's Kim, get out of here, is just like,
Yeah,
oh, I feel like we could do that better.
that's so valid. Yeah, the send off needs to be grander.
Mm-hmm. So everyone is going to be like, what? Not Kim, as if she was so beloved. And she's going to leave. And Shane is going to say, guess it's time for payback. And Peter's
I
going to be like, oh.
Yeah, Peter's just mad he got called out. Like, again, Peter just stays giving me the ick. Like, Peter, you're playing the game you're telling everyone not to play. Like, you are equally withholding information. Like, you are equally lying to people. It's just I just feel like he's on this high horse and it just kind of comes off arrogant to me that like he's better than everyone else and it really just rubs me the wrong way. Like I would love
Yeah.
for him to be off that bus soon.
Yeah, like, but like, where is this arrogance coming from? Like, is he still like, I was on Traders? Like,
Probably, and he thinks
it,
that now he's a gamer.
yeah, it feels
And
like we cut Traders and like the next day he was on the bus. Like, no time passed in between or something.
yeah,
Like, he was like just told that he had figured something out. Like, you're brand new to this game. Like, where is this ego coming from?
yeah, I mean, like, look, I didn't dislike him on Traders. Like, I thought he actually was like a really good
Yeah,
faithful.
right.
And maybe he felt like he was too good of a faithful that he's just going into this bus bringing some big energy of like, my shit don't stink. I'm a gamer now. Like, I know what I'm doing. And in reality, I'm like, but you made it boring by not doing the challenge. And this drama is just so stupid. Like it's not even interesting drama. Like it's just, I don't know. I don't know. I don't need Peter to be on a competition show again.
Well, I don't understand why he thinks he's so great and that like he can play the game but Allie can't. I'm not sure where that's coming from,
No.
but I don't hate him and Shane
No.
fighting about it. Like I was like,
No.
what are y'all even
I
talking
was like,
about? But
thank you,
okay.
Shane, for calling it out.
It didn't make sense. They were like what? I can play, you can play, what? We're all playing what? It's a game. I was like, okay, I don't think y'all are actually saying anything, but go right ahead, make the bus uncomfortable. I'm here for it. Um, but then the episode does end with a clue review, a review of all the clues, and I was like, thank you. We haven't had that since what was it, France? Or no, it was before France. It was Switzerland.
Yeah. Yeah.
I miss that.
Yeah. I like it because it's like, oh, wow. I
Yes.
really, really need to pay attention to everything you are saying now. Everything.
Yes.
And all the visuals.
Yes. Give me that. I want to know all the clues I missed. I want to know all the clues that you guys took the time to put into the game.
Yep.
Like this whole just like they were in a city and I'm like, but how do I know? How do I know they were in that city? Like
Right.
I saw no Paris clues whatsoever.
Nope.
And if they had done a review at the end, I'd have been like, amazing.
Yeah.
But they didn't. So I'm happy that that's back. Hopefully they keep that. They need to keep that.
I'm just curious how the rest of this will play out.
Mm-hmm.
There are some things about this show that I love.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some things about this show that I really don't, that I think make it really lackluster. I I really would. I mean, I love the game of it all, but I'm also like, it would suck being stuck on a bus. Like, I feel like at these Destination X spots, like I almost think that they should be allowed to get off. Like, great, it's Destination X. Like, this is the pit stop in our journey. And they should all come off the bus. And then he reveals who's the furthest. And then that person should get pulled away. And then everyone who like survived that round should have been able to like enjoy Oktoberfest and then like get some reality moments of them talking outside of the bus and like seeing him in this like situation, and then it's like all aboard, like get back on the bus and it's off to the next Destination X. Like that to me is the element of the show that I think lacks, because it is a travel competition series, and I do feel like it's NBC's kind of like way of trying to find their amazing race of sorts.
Yeah.
And I think what would make it, I just think, a little bit more exciting is let them enjoy the Destination X that they end up in for that episode and
Mm-hmm.
get some reality moments.
That would be fun. I'd be fine with that. I think part of the game is making them lose their mind on a bus. It's just the point of Big Brother. Like you lock someone away for 3 months, they're gonna lose their minds. But yeah, it would be a lot of fun to see them at Oktoberfest or whatever. Get a beer in them, and then that fight between Shane and Peter is gonna be way more entertaining.
Yeah, but I'm also like, even when they're like having these strategic conversations on the bus and they're like, they have to sit down and then like buckle in, like
Yeah.
the setting doesn't change. There's not a variety in setting with the exception of the challenges. And it's just like, I think, and maybe this is because I am such a Amazing Race fan,
Yeah.
I just think it would make Destination X bigger by letting them enjoy the city they end up in.
Mm-hmm.
Or like they're competing to like get off the bus to like maybe go. I mean, we did see some promo, and I'm pretty sure in the trailer it was like Shane and Allie and they share a kiss, and it looked like they're on the Venice Canal. So like maybe we'll
Oh,
see that later in the
yeah.
season, but like compete to like get off the bus at Destination X and then like give us some reality moments. I don't know. It's just, it has potential. I think
Yeah.
the show overall, it's still lacking something for me.
Yeah. It does feel like season one just not quite coming together. You
Right.
know, you'll learn a lot from a season one, and you kind of hope like season two will be much better. Because yeah, there's definitely some misses here. As fun as it is, the game part, there's definitely some misses. Here's a map of Germany. Where do you think they're gonna go next? So they went south. Munich is way south because they were up here in Netherlands and they
Yep.
went down here. So I kind of think they're going to Austria, right?
Yeah, I would say Austria, or I could even see Poland. Austria, I think, makes the most sense, but I think if you want to go distance to like throw them off, like bring
Yeah.
them up to Poland. But because I mean, I just said with like the preview of Shane and Ali kissing, like Italy is definitely on the horizon. So why go up to Poland? So maybe they will go south. Maybe Croatia.
Oh, Croatia is beautiful. You think they're gonna go back to Italy? Only because the preview showed it.
I mean, maybe it wasn't the Venice canals, but they were on a
Mm,
boat and they shared a kiss and it looked very similar to Venice canals. But
right,
if they go back to Italy, I mean, it definitely throws them for a loop.
right.
But you can even just
Yeah,
tell, you can just tell, like, and I can, maybe that's again with this whole show. It's just kind of like, I mean, we touched on it at the beginning of the recap. It's like bigger, well known
it
cities of these
is.
countries.
Yeah,
And right now they're essentially just doing a loop, right? You got Italy, Switzerland, France. Now they're up in Amsterdam. They went up to Netherlands. Now they're back in Germany. Like, I don't
yeah.
know.
So I almost feel like they will go up to Poland, then come down through Prague, Austria, and maybe end back in Italy, or maybe they come over to Spain. But yeah, they're just doing a bit of a loop of the highlights, the big cities. But we have like five more episodes, so Yeah. Are they gonna
Yeah.
do a big
And if it's not, I
another
mean,
big loop?
if it's not Italy again, I mean, definitely water. So I can definitely see them going to Croatia.
Yeah.
Like split Croatia, as we know from the race, is gorgeous. Um, and like, I wouldn't put it past them to go back on a train like they did this last episode.
Trains are fun.
I loved when they were at the first episode and they were on that private jet and they were all wearing their goggles. Like I could see them maybe getting on the Destination X plane again. Like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it wouldn't hurt to like do stuff like that. Like the variety needs to shake up with the bus. I think
Right. The
I get that
whole
the bus is part of the show, but it's like change it up.
yeah, the whole like point of the show being that it is on a bus is
Hmm.
very limiting.
Like throw
Um,
them on the private jet, but that they flew in on. Maybe they fly to Marrakesh for an episode, and they have no idea that they are not even like in the continent of Europe anymore. Now they're like what Northern Africa with Morocco, like just something like it changes the scenery, it changes the I don't know. I just there's so much potential with this show, and I wouldn't be mad if it got a season two, but I would hope that it would come back bigger and better.
right. Yeah. Agreed. Agreed. Well, I'm excited that you're into it so we can keep talking
I
about it.
know.
And if there is a season two, you need to be on it. Show these
You
people
know,
how to do it.
listen, I will never understand why they didn't throw an Amazing Racer on this one to begin with. Granted, I think we're just too smart for the show.
I don't even know geography. And I'm like, if I'm
the
getting some of
moment
this,
the moment he said this country touches nine others or whatever, I was like, it's Germany. I mean, granted, I think that maybe is big knowledge that most people know, but I was like, immediately I was like, Germany. Like it's just
yeah.
I don't know. I love geography and I think that's the appeal of the show for me, but there
Plus,
can be
all of
some
those
changes.
people were told they're going to Europe. Like this season is just Europe. They already know that. So you're going to study everything about Europe, right?
Yeah.
And you're going to get tidbits like that, whatever that Van Gogh museum is in Amsterdam.
Yep.
Okay. I didn't know that, but you're probably read that in a book, right? So they're going to know all of these things. Here we are. Not that hard. All right, James, thank you so much.
Of course.
Thank
Thanks
you
for
to you
having
guys
me.
hanging out in the chat. Yeah, geography is the hardest for me for sure. Thank you guys. Yeah.
Agreed, Teresa.
Mm-hmm. All right. I will be back next week with hopefully a recap and an exit interview. And stay tuned. Maybe we'll get to talk to Kim at some point. Uh, if you guys are watching later, please leave a comment. Let us know how you're feeling about the show, how you felt about losing Kim. Give us all your thoughts with that. And we will see you next time.
Woo!
Goodbye.